Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2014, the last day of summer. There was a press announcement about 15 minutes ago that international broker US Re has licensed the CATEX pivot point system. The release is currently on Associated Press and Google. You can find out more. There are quotes from Mark Piccione, Senior Vice President of US Re as well. Thousands of Russians have rallied in Moscow in protest against the armed conflict in eastern Ukraine. It's the first major anti-war rally in connection with the standoff between Kiev and Moscow. Flags and placards were saying, "Putin, I'm sick of your lies. I don't want a war with Ukraine," were seen. Protesters were chanting, "No to war." About 5,000 people apparently participated. The demonstration was being closely monitored by police and police helicopters. In Hong Kong today, thousands of Hong Kong university students are boycotting classes for the whole week to protest Beijing's decision to restrict electoral forms only to candidates of Beijing's liking. The strike comes as dozens of the city's tycoons and business leaders are visiting Beijing right now to meet with the Chinese leadership, who are seeking to bolster support among Hong Kong's pro-establishment billionaire elites for the central government's policies on a semi-autonomous city. Student organizers are dismayed over the Chinese government's decision to rule out open nominations for candidates under the proposed guidelines. The battle over democracy in Hong Kong has led to an increasingly tense and divided city. The chief executive of Air France, KLM, just made concessions to trade unions, specifically the pilots' union, in an effort to bring an end to a, quote, disastrous strike that has grounded thousands of Air France flights. Alexandre de Juniac said he was stopping the expansion of the Franco-Dutch airline group's low-cost Transavia unit outside France and the Netherlands until sometime next year in order to secure negotiating time with the pilots. The strike has been costing the group approximately 20 million euros a day, and from personal experience last week in France, it's causing massive disruption in the air traffic control system throughout Europe. There was an explosion yesterday at a U.S. steel facility in Fairfield, Alabama, that injured 3 workers, apparently one fatally. There's not a lot of information on this yet. U.S. Steel says that it's aware of what happened at the facility, and they are not yet releasing the details of either the incident or those injured. There was a ruling by the European Court of Justice late last week that will possibly have insurers in Europe subject to extra value-added sale tax charges that could cost them hundreds of millions of pounds, so-called VAT tax. The ruling also affects other financial sectors. It means that services between a group's headquarters and its branches may now be subject to VAT. Previously, goods and services supplied between the head offices and branches were not liable for tax, as they were considered to be within the same VAT group. This will be a big hit if, in fact, it's interpreted such by the 27 member countries. The EU financial regulator of the European Insurance and Occupational Pensions Authority, called EIOPA, has called on continental insurance regulators to ensure that insurers devote sufficient resources to protect against growing IT risks. In its latest report on risks and vulnerabilities published just this morning, EIOPA said that most institutions were responding to growing IT-related occupational risks. Regulators still needed to do more to ensure that firms were properly managing their digital environment. They said that they have concern over whether individual European financial regulators are sufficiently prepared to oversee and regulate the cyber policies being offered by insurers currently. There was a big bus crash in the United States late yesterday afternoon on Interstate 95, the main north-south corridor between New York and Miami. This happened in Delaware. It left at least 2 people dead and 50 injured. The bus was owned by AM USA Express Incorporated, a bus transport company based in Chinatown in New York City. The passengers were part of a sightseeing group sponsored by eWorld Travel and Tour based in New York City, and they were composed mainly of Turks and Chinese, Portuguese, and Spanish. Taiwan has evacuated more than 3,000 people from endangered areas as Typhoon Fung-Wong is approaching. It's being called Typhoon Phoenix in English. Left at least 10 people dead in the Philippines and has left 200,000 Filipinos huddled in emergency evacuation shelters right now. It also submerged as much as 25% of Metro Manila in floods. The TV pictures are actually quite unbelievable. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.